Welcome back to Lantern Insights. Today on the channel, I'm going to be playing a league of Abzan Lantern as of February 2024. This is kind of how my current build of Abzan Lantern. And I think this is the build where if you're new to Lantern control, you just want to get into it, and you said, hey, what's kind of the best entry point? I think this would be definitely be the version I would recommend. It kind of has all of the key elements of Lantern. I think it's just a very clean list overall. So if you've never seen Lantern before, the kind of key combo of it is Lantern of Insight plus Codex Shredder. Lantern of Insight allows, it says both players play with their top card revealed, and then with Codex Shredder, you taps to have one player mill a card. So you essentially get to a point where you are able to see the top cards for both players, and then anything that your opponent draws that would be good for them, you kind of mill it, and then anything that is a land not important, you're able to get rid of it with the Codex Shredder. The final part of that lock is Ensnaring Bridge, which prevents creatures from attacking if they have more cards than, or if they have power greater than the number of cards in your hand. And with this deck, you usually like to be at 0 cards. Rounding out the rest of the deck, we have our standard hand disruption package here. You could be playing the Third Duress or more Inquisitions, but I've elected to go for a split here. And we have Prismatic Ending as removal. I think it's the best removal spell against all of the fast decks in the format. Where if you look at kind of the best decks, like it's very good against Yogg, Scam, Murktide, Zoo, all strong against kind of all of the early aggression, very good against Hammer, Burn, Scales, Death Shadow, anything like that. I think Pending just is the best removal spell for. And Rhinos are currently probably the #1 deck in Modern, but both Prismatic Ending and Assassin's Trophy are pretty bad against Rhinos. Like you don't really need either of them in that matchup, as killing a 4/4 usually isn't total game plan. But Prismatic Ending is our main removal. We have Ancient Stirrings as our card advantage, just being able to dig 5 deep, hopefully find missing pieces, find extra lands. Just a very efficient, kind of low cost, like a cantrip in a lot of ways. Ancient Stirrings lets you dig 5 deep and kind of lets you get basically like 3/4 of your deck. Everything here you can find with Ancient Stirrings, so it's one of the best cantrips available in Modern. You have Mishra's Bauble. Here it's very good at filtering kind of early, can pseudo act like a lantern. And then Pithing Needle, Cookbook, and Nihil Spellbomb are kind of going to be the main cards that we are finding off of Urza's Saga, which is our most powerful land. We're going back to 4 Glimmer Voids. We were playing 1 Forest at one point, but I think the Forest is pretty bad. You're never going to be killing a Blood Moon anyway after it resolves, so it's the odds of you drawing like your Forest and your Swamp and Assassin's Trophy, you're not killing Blood Moon. Having a Forest in there for that purpose is not worth it. You have 1 Swamp if you need to get a basic, and if you're getting Field of Ruin multiple times in this deck, I think you're likely losing anyway, because it's mainly just mill that does that, and probably milling you a whole bunch. So that's what we're sticking there. We got once we move over to the sideboard, we have 3 ley lines. You could play 4, but I've elected to go with 3 for kind of anything aggressive, relying on Thoughtseize. Ashiok for some of the bigger decks. It's good against like Tron, Titan, 4-color piles, control decks. Just a versatile card there. We have Assassin's Trophy. Similar to some of the Esper lists have played things like Get Lost, but we have access to green and black here. We might as well play Assassin's Trophy. And then more kind of singletons to grab with Urza's Saga, Welding Jar, Another Needle, Stone of Eric, and then Voidmere, Soulless Jailer are mainly for Cascade decks, and then Cursed Totem for Yawgmoth and Rhinos. Or not Rhinos, Yawgmoth and Scales. Anyway, that rounds out the sideboard. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this list. I like where it's at right now. I think we have good matchups against a lot of the top decks. Obviously not all of them, but hopefully we can just hit those good matchups. And I will see you for round 1. Welcome to game 1 on the play, obviously where we like to be. Yes, we'll play first. I mean, we have the lock, we have early interaction. I think it's a easy keep. Like, we'll have to find bridge, but hopefully we're able to do that. You know, we'll see. We'll see. This hand definitely. I mean, just missing a bridge. I think hands like this are totally fine to keep. We're gonna play Pixis here. If they have like fetch lands or anything like that, we don't want to give them free value off Lantern, and realistically we're not going to be sacrificing it that aggressively to shuffle something of theirs. Obviously we get a bit burned here, but they're just going to be taking our Thoughtseize. Actually go Glimmer Void, play the Lantern out. Demolition Field, alright, so likely Coffers. We do have that one basic to get on the first one. I mean, we will take Karn and then leave them with essentially nothing. We don't really care too much about anything else they have. Yeah, we take Karn here. And they do know that we drew, like that Thoughtseize was our draw for turn. We'll let them have the Demolition Field. At this point, I think we're in a pretty good position. They don't really have, like, none of these cards line up well against us. They're probably taking the Pithing Needle. Yep, that's fine. And at this point, it's definitely going to be a pretty slow game. Importantly, Cabal Coffers here doesn't actually tap for mana, as they only control one swamp. So effectively they're at 2 mana, which is pretty good. We are going to mill here. I mean, Field of Ruin, we don't really want them to have. I wonder how aggressively I took my upkeep stop off. Yeah, at this point I think I let them use the Demolition Field, draw the Field of Ruin. Yeah, the second one's kind of gonna suck, but yep. Yes, we will get a swamp. I think it is kind of important that the first one isn't a strip mine, as obviously if they see their first Field of Ruin just and you don't have a land to grab off of it, they are going to fire off the other ones much quicker. Although if they Field of Ruin like a courtyard or a spire here, I think we're all right, just because then that means that something like Urza's Saga they likely don't have an answer for. Play their other Coffers. So they are going to blow it up with Field of Ruin. Yeah, at this point, maybe we should have left the basic forest in, but like I talked about, Urza's Saga on top here, where now they've used both of their fields, so they aren't going to be able to kill it. But at this point, like I think we just mill them to like all removal. We're not really taking them off of mana. They got multiple Cabal Coffers online, so we'll mainly just be using the lock to keep them off of threats here. However, I mean they play tons of removal, so yes, I'd like to get a trigger, and we do have Prismatic Ending. Like between Spire and Glimmer Void, at this point, like Prismatic Ending is going to be able to get up to 4 pretty easily. That is one complaint about it, where it doesn't, like Trophy can hit things that are higher mana value, but the being able to exile here means like we can even let them draw Shieldred and then just remove it because the Prismatic Endings aren't doing anything else. They're going to remove both of these, but we might as well make them, and then it makes our other sagas we draw later on kind of more valuable. Where if they use the removal on these constructs and we draw another saga, they won't have a sorry, what are words? They won't have a removal spell for other constructs. But yeah, they kill this here. So they're gonna cast March of Wretched Sorrow and just deal like a large number of. I mean, they don't have an Urborg, so each of their coffers actually just taps for 3 mana, which doesn't really gain them much. All right, they're pitching can cast X equals 7, and they pitched Fatal Push. They don't have a problem with that. Yeah, we just keep them off threats here. Another March of Wretched Sorrow, totally fine. We are going to have to be a bit conscious about clock, as this is likely going to be a rather long game 1. We're just going to yield here. Obviously, yeah, we'll go for the attack, kind of force the removal spell out of them. They might take it to draw March. No, they're going to Fatal Push. That makes sense. And then we want to use Mishra's Bauble on their turn. But here, yeah, we can yield until end step. The one ring we don't care too much about. We have Pixis to have both of us mill. I think we still do mill here anyway because we have to put some clock on them. Cling to Dust we are going to use Pixis on. Drawing another Saga here. I mean, yeah, everything I've been talking about. But Cling to Dust is one way that they can kind of get around it, where it gives them a bit more instant speed draw. We're likely just grabbing this Shredder here. I don't think there's too much else we care about. You could grab either another Urza Saga, but they have the Damnation, or you could grab a what was the other card there? Ensnaring Bridge, but they're not going to draw any creatures this game. I'd rather just have an extra mill rock to mill them a bit faster. Balak not. I guess they'll run them ring out here. It's definitely correct for them too. They can't use it, but giving them protection for a turn. We do want to use Pixis on this as we don't want it in the graveyard. So we'll just hold off on the second Shredder. Draw step, Saga. I mean, they have the answers to constructs. That's not really what we're concerned about. Pixis. Bowmasters we will mill, but we'll do this upkeep when our Shredders are back online. And technically, like, we have a yield. Urborg, yield to the next step. Urborg we are worried about. Yes, it gives them access to a lot more mana, but they have nothing to do with all of that extra mana. I mean, it's going to make their March of Wretched Sorrow really big, but let's make a dude. Just force some more removal out of them. And yeah, I think like it's basically just clock here. Where yeah, we'll get our 4th Shredder. We've already exiled 2 Cling to Dusts, so I wouldn't be too anxious to get another Pixis, as they are not super likely to be running that many. It does mean I will probably hold up Pixis more aggressively, where from now on I'll kind of use my 4 Codex Shredder to mill them, and then I'll use the Pixis last, just in case after those 4 Codex Shredder there's a Cling to Dust on top. But from this point, like it's game over. Yeah, you got it. You gain as much life as you need. We are still going to mill you out. And yeah, not limiting their instant speed draw is like super important here, because it means you can just mill them like fairly aggressively. You don't have to, and it's very important for clock, where you don't have to, like you don't have to care. Mazeman's Tome, yeah, like you can just yield through the turn. Troll, obviously we don't want them to have, so we can Pixis here. Bowmasters, I mean, we draw our last mill rock in the deck. One card that we aren't playing is okay, we win. One card that we're not playing is Mycosynth Gardens. I think in a 3-color mana base with a couple extra pending requirements, it's quite difficult to make work. All right, in terms of what we want for coffers, like Garden's very hard if you need your colors early. We're going to bring in these ley lines as they are a Thoughtseize deck. Assassin's Trophy can hit both Shieldred and Karn. Another Needle, we want to take them off the One Ring, Demolition Field, Field of Ruin, Takenuma, can be an answer to Karn if needed. Voidmere, not for this matchup. Torpor Orb shuts down Bowmasters, but that's basically it. Soulless Jailer doesn't do much. Cursed Totem doesn't shut down anything. Ashiok could be kind of interesting, but I don't think we really need it. Oh, I did make a few changes from the video description. I didn't have Torpor Orb, so I think I was only showing 14 cards in the intro. Torpor Orb was supposed to be in there. Wasn't shown. And Emrakul I switched for the Stone of Eric, as I don't think it's super needed. Scam doesn't see a ton of play, and as I was talking through the mill scenario with crabs, I got thinking of Emrakul. As for what we don't need in this matchup, I mean, like a lot of our main deck is pretty good against them. I think we can trim 2 pending, so we want 6 in. Nihil Spellbomb we can probably trim. It's good if they have Cling to Dust, but hopefully we can use Pixis, and again, Cling to Dust isn't like the end of the world. We can probably trim 2 Baubles against the Orcish Bowmasters deck, and maybe a Bridge. Bridge might be wrong here, but that's what I'm gonna do. So hopefully we can have another game just as smooth as that one. Was pretty fortunate drawing that Thoughtseize there when we did. Thoughtseize bug confirmed, as Karn is obviously a good game against us. I think in terms of their sideboarding plan, like it mostly just revolves around Karn, whether or not they can land that. Well, this hand is like so close, but I think if they have a Thoughtseize, we just lose because we're not able to play the Glimmer Void on 1, and maybe not even on 2. So I think we just have to mulligan. This one's a lot better. I'll put the 3rd land to the bottom. It's kind of greedy, but I think it's fine overall. They're going to play a Citadel tapped. It's going to give us a chance to use some hand disruption. Hopefully they don't have too many Field of Ruin effects. Whoops, wrong color mana. Black mana. So they have Cabal Coffers, which they don't have mana. They have 1 black. We're gonna try to get a Needle on the ring. They have 1 black mana. Because they can't Coffers, they don't have anything for it. So he can exile to draw a card. I mean, we could go like max greed, take Cling to Dust, hope they don't draw a 2nd land, but I think that's like super greedy, so I think I just take the Tome here. And then hope to find a needle for ring and go from there. I mean, let me know in the comments if you would have played that differently. I think if we had a lantern in hand, like if one of these rocks was a lantern, I'd be much more likely to take the Cling to Dust and try to lock them, as we only have to fade 1 drop. But because we don't have a lantern, it's going to be, they didn't draw a land. It's going to be a good number of turns before they are able to, or sorry, before we're able to find lantern, and so not Urza Saga. Ancient Stirrings. Just gonna grab a Codex Shredder. Obviously would have liked to find Lantern or Pithing Needle there. Kind of unfortunate not finding either of them. But again, they have no swamps. So they have 1 black mana from Sunken Citadel, and that's it. And they are not drawing any more. If we play Lantern here, if we drew Lantern, we would play it over making constructs, but here, I think like without the land, we are just going to try to put pressure on them. Yes, they have the March that they can cast by pitching a lot. Again, this doesn't give them any more mana, as they don't control any swamps. And so in this case, I believe this is going to be a mana denial game. Let's see what, if we draw a land here, it will change our play. Yeah, we're just going to make another one, as March is only 1 removal spell, and it's going to be Lantern here. Thoughtseize, I'm fine letting them have a Thoughtseize. Yes, they can cast it, but I think we are the beatdown here. They don't have a land. They can't cast Escape, Cling to Dust. March of Wretched Sorrow, they can like empty their hand of every black card. But I'm fine with them having Thoughtseize. It's not a land. That's the main thing I care about, and we win. Yeah, so that's a good game against Coffers. I think that shows the mana denial route, where there are a lot of avenues for just locking your opponents out of lands. Here, I think like they definitely got punished by not having any swamps, and I think that's kind of one of the things with Cabal Coffers, where it does not tap for mana unless you have 3 swamps on the battlefield. So if you have less than 3 swamps, Coffers net negative mana from activating it. So you either need it to be your 4th land, or you need Urborg plus a bunch of Coffers. And yeah, we were just able to run them over that game. Yeah, I think that was quite a good showing. Like to be honest, neither of these games were close. Like I think we completely, that second game for sure, completely dominated. The first game we had to get a bit lucky grabbing the Thoughtseize, but like still just ran them over. So good showing for our first round, and we'll be back shortly for round 2. All right, round 2 up against Nambu, mulliganing an easy mulligan here, no lander. If only these 2 lanterns were lands, it would be perfect, but alas, no lands. No lands, no keep. Generally, I think you can mulligan to 6 fairly aggressively with this deck. Mulliganing to 5 is where you run into a bit of trouble. We'll drop the second lantern here. Hopefully they are a more board-focused deck. Oh, probably Living End. Yeah, Grief, pitch Living End. And they likely take Ensnaring Bridge, and I think we're definitely behind here if they have a lot of stuff able to come back easily. And if they have turn 3 Living End, they will be able to take the Ensnaring Bridge with the Grief they get back before we are able to cast it. Academy Ruins, long run, can get it back. So we're just going to have to dodge a Force of Negation at some point. We're going to play the Lantern. If they have Force, they have Force. It'll depend on how much they can get into their graveyard. I don't know why they would fetch first. That seems weird unless they're trying to cycle into a Force. You'd think they'd want to use the information from Lantern. They shouldn't. Yeah, they don't have Spell Pierce or anything like that in main, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we're good with this. Next turn we likely go Shredder Thoughtseize. Hope to take either a Cascader or a Force, depending on what they have. We can then spend turn 3 getting Ensnaring Bridge back, and we can play it on turn 4. Not always fast enough against Living End. Sometimes is. We'll see if this is one of the games where it is fast enough. Although they currently have 6, 10, 13, 15 power in their graveyard. So I don't think it's super likely that they didn't play the land they got off of. Well, they definitely did not mean to do that, I don't think. Yeah, they did not play the land that they found off of Oliphant. Lead on Thoughtseize. I'm probably playing Academy Ruins here, not Glimmervoid. Okay, so they do have a Shardless Agent. They do also only have 2 lands, and we do have a bridge on top. So I'm actually going to take the Waker of Waves to minimize their odds of drawing Force of Negation, which is the card that beats us here. As you know, if they get back everything from their graveyard, we just play an Ensnaring Bridge next turn, and then we are in good shape. Waker is one card where, you know, all the single mana cyclers, you can like respond to them as they're only drawing 1 card, but the Waker, it lets them dig a second card down, obviously, which can sometimes find a force, and obviously not playing that land last turn is kind of huge for them, and definitely, I mean, they very clearly punted. Likely just a kind of thing where they just passed through on Moto. That is one of the reasons why I like playing in paper so much more. I mean, not only you get to like hang out with other people, but just it's much friendlier. Like the environment, you know, and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's great. Like we took a bit of advantage of a misplay, but it's not like game winning, or like in paper they just play the land. No one passes and forgets to play their second land drop. So they're gonna play the Tomb, probably cast Shardless Agent. It's kind of unfortunate that they'll take the Codex Shredder, but it's not the end of the world. They shouldn't have many main deck answers at all to Ensnaring Bridge, so I'm not really too worried. A lot of cards revealed. We see 1 Otawara. Yeah, you can have yourself a Living End. And Subtlety we do not care about. So they got Waker and Stomping Ground. We saw Otawara go to the bottom, so we'll likely Needle Beseiju. Yep, you can grief us. And I mean, we can always get it back with Academy Ruins too. Actually, we may take a turn off just to do that, as I don't think Pithing Needle is likely to be relevant this turn. We'll see what's under the needle. It's a land. Yeah, I think we just take the turn off to get back Codex Shredder, and then next turn we can go land, Shredder, Needle, and be pretty set up. All right, Force here. We don't really want them to have, but we also don't really care that much. We're just going to use this opportunity to put Codex Shredder back. They might cycle in response here in order to try to get Force. But you always kind of want to force them, kind of be responding to them instead of having them responding to you. They may use their Waker here. No, they're not going to use Waker. Needle. They may use Waker of Waves, and they just concede. All right, perfect. Yeah, we were winning anyway. I think we definitely win that game. All right, for this matchup, bring in a Welding Jar, a Soulless Jailer, Void Mirror. Torpor Orb is good against Foundation Breaker. One of the kind of the best clean answer to that. And I can see some number of Assassin's Trophy coming in, as they usually, many lists play Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard. You know, no guarantees this player has it, but definitely possible. And you could consider our own Leyline, as they're likely to be on Grief. We'll see how many cards are coming out. Our Prismatic Ending is the first thing out. Like it has nothing in the deck. It hits. Underworld's Cookbook, as we don't need, like, if we have 3 cards in hand, they're bringing back a bunch of 4/4, 5/5, 6/6, 7/7 creatures, so we don't need our hand super empty. We kind of have 6 we want to bring in for sure. All the hand disruption I think stays in. They have Force of Negation, Force of Virtue, taking them off Cascaders, lots of good stuff. Maybe we'll just trim a bauble. And Leyline, I think we'll see. It's good against exactly Grief. I think we'll just have to try to play around Grief. You know, one thing, Living End is a matchup where you often play Saga on turn 1 in order to get Nihil Spellbomb from your graveyard. In this, like when you're on the draw, that's often less successful than when you're on the play, as you have time. I guess we could bring in Ashiok. Already exiled the graveyard. I think he's slow on the draw though. This hand, I mean, it casts Thoughtseize and that's it. It does have Shredder plus Bauble, but I still think it's a mulligan here. We don't have green for Trophy. Just not a lot going on. Alright, we got 2 hate pieces to full lock. We're going to keep, drop Assassin's Trophy, hopefully using Bauble to find a land. If they start on Leyline, it's kind of unfortunate, but they don't. So we're in good shape here. And if they do grief us, this is a fairly grief-proof hand, as we'll play Voidmere first. Hopefully, I mean, they probably force at some point earlier. We're going to play the Bauble first. Spire of Industry to Duress. See if they force this. And then we will check on their upkeep what their card is as the second land. Alright, Force Pitch Architects of Will. Yeah, we're pretty okay with that. It's not there for Voidmere next turn. Voidmere, importantly, does shut down the alternate casting of both Force of Negation and Force of Vigor. They either have only one Cascade spell in hand, being Violent Outburst, or they have Force of Vigor. I think those are, or Brotherhood's End, but I think they likely have something that's very good against us in hand, and so didn't want us to know that they had that. That's generally why people fire off Force against turn 1 hand disruption. So we have 2 looks at a second land here. I think if we get the second land, we play the Voidmere, as we need to not die. If we don't get a second land, then we are in trouble. Oh, and we can't use. Well, I think we probably just die here. I mean, if they bring stuff back, we don't have Bridge. We're kind of counting on Voidmere to stop their Cascade. We know for sure they have Curator of Mysteries in hand, which they cycle here. Yeah, I think we're just dead on this one. But at least they haven't seen the Voidmere or Torpor Orb, so we don't have to worry about them seeing those. And yeah, like we just need them to not have a Cascade spell, and then also us draw land. Although they are stuck on 2 lands. Okay, we have a slight chance. We do draw a Courtyard here. I think I just have to play the Voidmere, as we're too far behind. If they if they untap and Cascade, then we are pretty far behind. So it also stops Grief, but they don't likely have a Grief in hand just based on how they've played. Am still somewhat thinking Force of Vigor and or Brotherhood's End could be cards they have. This is a deck that it's Force Pitch Architects of Will again. Alright, not ideal, obviously. But just because they have so many, they don't have cyclers in hand, which means there's a fairly limited number of cards they could have. Of these 3 cards, none of them are lands, because they would have played them the turn before, and none of them cycle for 1 mana because they would have cycled all of those, which means it's likely some combination of Cascaders, either 1 or 2, and then interaction for us, either 1 or 2. Importantly, we are not outright dead to Ent Street Wraith here. Let's go Lantern. They have another. I think we're gonna play Torpor Orb, as I do kind of want this Inquisition. Do I want Inquisition if they have? No, I don't think so, actually. There's Stirrings, looking for either Bridge or I guess we take Needle. Any order. Pixis on top. To play out Needle. Name Boseiju here. Boseiju, who endures. I forgot the S. So we're gonna name Boseiju. Street Wraith, I think I don't love them having it. 4, 9, 12. I guess it depends what they cycle here. We're likely on a very limited clock. And we're probably using this Shredder on ourselves just to get rid of that Pixis. Although if they do Grief, pitch Street Wraith, that's probably not what they were protecting. So they are probably going to be able to take both cards from us. It gives them 15 power, so 2 turns to find an Ensnaring Bridge. And they likely have some. I still think it's pretty likely that they have interaction for us, which is going to make it difficult to win this game, even if we do find Bridge. They're going to Cascade here. Violent Outburst main. Interesting approach. Yeah, I don't know. They go 2 cards deep, and those 2 cards were just an Ent. It was right under. As they are going to take the Stirrings, which would have been one way where if there's a land under the Pixis. But yeah, 3, 6, 11, 15. Not just dead, meaning we do have 2 turns to find an Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, take your Ancient Stirrings. No haster. Give them all +1/+0. If Violent Outburst gave haste, that would be that would not be fun. We are gonna shred ourselves here. They do only have 1 card in hand, so we would like to see that. If it's Force of Vigor, they still beat us. If it's, I'm not gonna mill this fetch land, hoping that it's Brotherhood's End in hand and that I can keep them off red. Like if it's Brotherhood's End, it's Brotherhood's End. If it's Force of Vigor, then we have to find another one. Actually, if it's Force of Vigor, we just lose because they can destroy Bridge and Saga. And then we can't find land plus Bridge in time. So they're fetching here. Yeah, I think Force of Vigor, not be super surprised to see that. They fetch Shocked. Just play it if you have it. As long as, so we're not technically just dead. They should have hit the Saga here. We're gonna mill ourselves. So we will sacrifice Lantern, I guess whenever. Hope to find another bridge. So yeah, like we talked about, you know, the force of negation is usually to protect something. Kind of unfortunate, but did kind of see it coming, and there's not really anything we can get here other than bridge that saves us, although we do know they are drawing a blank. Trophy does not do it. Tough one there, but you know what happens. Force of Vigor, very good card. Oh yeah, I gotta hit concede. So they obviously stumbling on that second land was pretty far from ideal. Begin sideboarding. Now we gotta consider if we want Ashiok on the play. We didn't see any ley lines from their deck, so I am gonna cut these Assassin's Trophy. We got through, like we saw a fairly decent chunk of their deck. I mean, maybe they have it. Maybe we'll leave one in just to hedge, and then bring in one Ashiok. Alright, being on the play is obviously much stronger in this matchup. I mean, I would like this hand if we had colored mana, but Academy Ruins. Oh man, when the card's good, it's good, but it sucks in the opener. This hand we'll definitely keep. I think we put back probably the Bauble. We don't need it to turn on Rainbow Lands. Stirrings just gives better selection than Bauble does. Thoughtseize. If Soulless Jailer was a non-artifact creature, so they have Grief. I think we take the Grief, and then next turn cast Duress and Ancient Stirrings, and then we're still able to play Soulless Jailer before they can land. A Cascader, although Boseiju in their hand is going to need to mean that we find a Pithing Needle. So not ideal. Shock into Steam Vents. Actually, yeah, this isn't great. I mean, leaving them with Grief isn't good either. But, I mean, just Hate Piece into Hate Piece. If we play turn 2, yeah, I think with this draw, we're just going to duress them. Oh, I tapped my lands wrong. I had to play the other one. Oh, that is a bit of a definite punt there. I had to play the Concealed Courtyard first for the black mana for duress, and then get the green mana for stirrings. Oh, that was bad. Oliphant is the card they drew, which means we're looking at the same set of cards. I mean, duress can't take Oliphant anyway. We're gonna Force of Vigor. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Well, that's a pretty bad miss there. Not using stirrings. I think we're definitely in much better shape if we cast that. Likely just finding a land. But even something like Urza's Saga can like potentially win us the game there. So they're gonna play a Stomping Ground, leaving them with one unknown. Come on. Alright, top deck Grief. So yeah, definitely in trouble here, as they can use Boseiju as answers to either one of these. Top deck Grief. Boo. Living End. I mean, if they look at this hand and we have an Urza Saga, like say we cast the Ancient Stirrings and it hits Urza Saga, we're just in like way better position. And we do know what 3 cards they have. I think we have to stirrings into a land here. Grab this Saga. In the order. And then we will play the Jailer. Kind of force them to use Beseiju on it. Yeah, force them to use Beseiju. And like right now, actually that's a pretty good board that they're bringing back. But it is a Beseiju that's not going at an Ensnaring Bridge. I mean, they Beseiju here, right? Yeah, but I mean, we'll grab a Swamp. It does let us cast Ancient Stirrings and make a Construct next turn. And if they take the turn off to Generous Ent, it does give them one less. I think they should have cast Generous Ent there. It seems weird to me that they wouldn't. Here I'm going to go for the Duress, look to take Violent Outburst. Or if they drew... Like, why did they not cycle Generous Ent to play the land? Maybe, I mean, if they drew Force Vigor, that could be the only reason. Okay, I mean, they're cycling Ent, but I can't take it with Duress anyway. Yeah, I have no idea why they wouldn't cycle it and just play the land. Oh, they drew Shardless Agent? I mean, still, I don't know why you don't cycle. So they're gonna be able to get some things back, take our Ancient Stirrings. We'll be able to make a couple chump blockers to slow down their clock a bit. Probably not enough though. Yes, they just play. I mean, they just run out Agent here, and I think we're pretty cooked. Yeah, you get your Shardless Agent. Gets you double Grief, Oliphant, and Generous Ent. Oh yeah, Damping Matrix is the card they're playing. They got one Unknown in hand. Double Grief, I mean, Saga can buy us like a turn? I think it can buy us one turn. But we will lose this Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, and just not having a Saga like turn 1 to get Spellbomb or anything like that. They obviously kept a pretty good opener against us. I don't think there's too much we could have changed there. Like we obviously playing that Ancient Stirrings wrong was pretty big, but that's about it. They're gonna make a food, and if they hadn't drawn Shardless there, like if they just had Violent Outburst and we take the Outburst, then we can hopefully do some things with constructs. I forgot we get Jailer back. That does give us one extra blocker, which can... I think we're still likely buying ourselves just one turn. This can... If we don't draw Bridge here, we make 4/4s. Huh. Yep. We will... The question is what do we get off of this bridge? And the answer is just Lantern. And then, yeah, one card in hand plus Street Wraith. They can't cast Living End again, which isn't super relevant after they've cast one, I know, but I mean, now it's just kind of a top deck battle, and they likely top deck a bit better than us, just being able to have so many cards like Street Wraith, which allow them to dig one card deeper. So I think they're probably favored here, although if we top deck, then we win. Ancient Stirrings would be very good. Yep, gain 3, congrats. Good stuff. Because they're spending their mana that way, unlikely that they have anything too relevant in hand, but I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize anyway. Another Thoughtseize on top isn't great, as we're basically just looking for a mill rock at this point. Okay, cycles Architects of Will, Misty Rainforest on top. I mean, Architects of Will is what we would have taken in that case. I mean, they probably... Honestly, it doesn't matter. They can cast either of them, and the 2/2 isn't really going to be relevant. Foundation Breaker does matter. However, if they fetch with Misty, that's good. If they don't fetch with Misty, I mean, here we likely have to sacrifice Lantern, targeting them. Let's see, so because Foundation Breaker, and yeah, is one of their best answers. But we will wait until like Soulless Jailer. It's very important if we had a Codex Shredder here and we were able to mill it, then being able to loop it with Living End can obviously kill us. However, Jailer would shut that down, so another good use for Jailer. Yeah, we just have to get rid of that. We're drawing a Pithing Needle, which we likely, I think we put it on Boseiju, only because Odawara, if they bounce it, we can survive a turn. Hedge Maze is their draw for turn. I would not like to see them put it on top. Okay, they're gonna bin a Curator. That's good for us. They crack a Misty, but they don't have anything in hand. So once again, we are in top deck position, except this time we need Lantern and Shredder. Honestly, like blue land into Academy Ruins would be quite strong here. We're going to needle Boseiju. Like I said, Odawara, who endures. If Odawara bounces it, we survive. Boseiju, who endures. Yeah, just nice everyday top deck battle against Living End. We are up clock. Importantly, I think that's something that I do usually find, that I'm often up clock, but a bit of a myth that Lantern is a super slow deck to play. I mean, that's the blue land. Let's see if we can get, I mean, Academy Ruins is good here. Codex Shredder, Urza Saga, even something like Nile's Spellbomb is a replacement. They do have 2 cards in hand. Right, Lantern is something. It could be Force. Wouldn't shock me here. Force. Hard pitch Force. Yeah, that's fine. Makes, we still have 1 in the graveyard if we get Academy Ruins. And I don't know. They still have that 1 Foundation Breaker somewhere in the deck. They're gonna cycle a Riverwinder. Yeah, like I talked about, they are able to cycle through cards a lot faster than we are. As in a position like this, we don't tend to top deck great. I would say if this is game 1, I would be pretty comfortable with this position. But because this is game 3, I think we likely, not to be super pessimistic, but we likely lose this one. Again, just cycling. Street Wraith. So we have, I think we know anything in their hand, right? Yeah, they cast that. And then a Damping Matrix. Artifacts and creatures can't be activated. Not good, obviously, but We did leave in one Assassin's Trophy for that. Another bridge is, I'm pretty happy with that there. It helps beat, doesn't beat Force of Vigor, but beats Foundation Breaker. That shuts down artifacts and creatures, right? Yeah. So we don't. Yeah, we have exactly one answer to that, I think. Drawing an Ashiok here would be nice, as we'd actually be able to kind of speed up the mill process quite a lot. Guys, I'm not psychic. It only looks that way because I just said drawing an Ashiok would be nice. Although they might have force for it. Or not. Yeah, that's pretty amusing. Let's see if we got anything good with it. We hit another Damping Matrix, but that's it. It is going to take another 20 cards off of them. If we survive 4 more turns, we take 20 cards off, leaving them with 7. I mean, it is one of the better cards we can draw with Damping Matrix on the battlefield. I don't know what all. I mean, they could be drawing Living Ends, any of their Cascade spells. They might not want to cast Land Cyclers here. Let's see. What do we hit? Grief. Nothing super relevant. Shredder, obviously we can't use it, but if we draw that trophy, then we can. So it's just better running it out now. And they could be drawing Griefs. Actually, that's one card. Although 1, 2, 3. Lots of stuff here. And as it gets down, okay, island for turn. That's good. I mean, this will be close. Assassin's Trophy? No. This does make our construct bigger. Still not. Can't soak up quite enough damage if they trample. If they trample Generous Ent, this will be a 6/6. And they'll hit for 6, 12, 14. Still not a great position. We did hit a Foundation Breaker and a Force of Vigor. Oh, we win! Oh, I guess that was their last out. Oh, Ashiok, huge clutch there. Wow, we pulled it out after a mistake with Ancient Stirrings early. Oh, Ashiok for the win. Oh, take a look at that. Oh, beautiful. Hit their Foundation Breaker, Force of Vigor. I guess that was the end of their answers. Oh, we beat Damping Matrix, double Grief. They got to Cascade. Oh, what a win. What a win. Ooh, I will be happily back in round 3 shortly. Alright, after following an exciting finish to round 2, we start on the draw here. I think we keep this hand. We can use Shredder plus Bubble to find things. We have good early interaction. Obviously not like an ideal hand, but Bubble plus Ruins can kind of be a mini lock. Let's see what they're on though. Flooded Strand. This could be Hammer. They're fetching right away, or it could be blue-white. Temple Garden Domain. Temple Garden pass. Fetch Shock. I mean, like we are going to cast one of the many discard spells. Inquisition first. Lorien Reveal. Okay, so some type of control deck. Domain. Okay, they have Leyline Binding. Oh, okay. It's no, we'll take the Agent. It's the new Rainbow Rhinos. Yeah, we take Shardless Agent. I think next turn we likely play Bauble Double Hand Disruption, taking the other agent and Leyline Binding. Does leave them with a Scion, but we'll have a... Oh, and we find it there. So we're going to play, but not use Bauble. Cast the Duress first. Taking Leyline Binding. That's the plan. And then casting Thoughtseize. They're on 2 lands. Honestly, we just take Scion here. If they tap out, like if they draw land and slam agent, then we know they don't have force. Whereas if they just play Scion without drawing a land, they could have force in that hand there. So, alright, so they draw Misty, we know that's what they have for turn, and if they tap out to play Rhinos here, I think we slam Bridge and we're fairly favored. That's kind of like what I was talking about last round, where, you know, they have Rhinos in hand. But where, you know, game 1, they probably have Boseiju, Leyline Binding as their only outs to this. So, and we will start using... We'll start using Bauble. Check. What do they got here? Another Rhinos. We're totally fine with them drawing. We now know their hand is double Rhinos. So next turn we likely go Shredder Thoughtseize, as we do kind of want to empty our hand here. We probably suspend 1 copy of Rhinos. And we will mill ourselves pretty aggressively with Academy Ruins out. Maybe we don't Thoughtseize. Urza Saga, that makes it easy. So we're going to play Saga, use that to play Shredder, and then play a second Ensnaring Bridge because this beats them drawing Leyline, where, I mean, yeah, they're pretty dead here. Yeah, they have to basically go Leyline Binding, and they draw land. We could put Bauble on top. It's probably a safer line. We'll pay life. As basically we have to fade like 1 draw, as we'll be able to get a Lantern next turn. Yes, you can crack your fetch now. I like... You don't have Fire Ice. Yeah, so we'll play Bauble, and then in their upkeep, we will take a peek, grab Lantern off Saga, and we should be good from there. I mean, there's most of their force. We let them have it. Like we'll fight through it. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Oh, we also have Thoughtseize. So yeah, we are totally fine with them having... Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, wait, no, sorry. It's not suspend. So I was thinking they were cascading there. Never mind. I'm a genius. Don't question the wise word. Oh, they concede. Alright, well, the good news is that they know what Lantern is and how it works, and that they were conceding early. The bad news is they do have a large number of sideboard cards for us, although this being the rainbow version, I mean, obviously, Leyline Binding is not great. Voidmere, we are going to bring in Soulless Jailer, the 2 trophies for Leyline Binding. Prismatic Endings, we're going to cut. Cookbook, we don't need. Nihil Spellbomb, we don't need, although they could play Endurance. I think it's easier to play around Endurance than it is to bring in Hate for it. And then probably Welding Jar and the other Needle for the two lands. Just do a quick check on Goldfish if there's any. Pretty sure I know all the all the sideboard cards that we're worried about here. Jar is good against them. Probably would have brought it in against Living End if we didn't also have like Torpor Orb to bring in. However, against Rhinos, Torpor Orb, I guess it shuts down like Tidebinder if they're playing that, but overall not super relevant. Footfalls has moved up to the most played deck in Modern, currently on Goldfish sitting at almost 17%. So unbanned Twin. Heard it here first. Yeah, they could have like Magus type effects, but a lot of versions are playing less, only like 2 Force of Vigor, which I think we're pretty happy with. Flame of Anor, seeing some play. Brotherhood's End obviously is like the worst card in Modern to resolve against us. Like Force of Vigor we can beat. Haywire Might we can beat. I mean, Brotherhood's End, you gotta take it with the hand disruption, as there's very low recovery from that. It's very close. I think we gotta mulligan it though. Rather take a safer 6 than the. They're mulliganing 2, which does mean this would punish them a lot. I think we gotta go to 5. We dump Courtyard here, and then we're just kind of all in on Urza Saga. All their artifact enchantment things hit enchantments too. Their artifact removal, so a bit unfortunate, but we do get the extra draw, and Jailer is pretty good against them. Just stopping Rhinos, stonewalling Shardless Agent. Doesn't get hit by Force of Negation, does get hit by Force of Vigor. Blooming Marsh into Lantern. I wonder if they force this. I can see them fetching early, being a sign that they may force it. Temple Garden. I mean, that just seems incorrect. Like, why would you hide nothing? All right, I don't understand, but all right. Like when you play against Lantern, you should let the Lantern resolve, as Lantern, like you were cycling Lorien revealed. I don't know what the thought there was. Here we kind of, because we know they drew Charlotte. Oh, we didn't know that. Voidmere on top. I mean, I'm just gonna play out Soulless Jailer. They will get a Scion, which does mean we kind of have to still find a bridge. You can't Force of Negation it. You can Force of Vigor it. I think we would use Leyline Binding. Another Lorien revealed. All right. I mean, they gotta find their 3rd land for Shardless Agent, but see if they cast no Force of Vigor there, which means no Rhinos this turn. They might have another Scion in hand, which they could cast here, but we just want to draw the extra card there. Bobble's not really doing too much. Mystical Dispute, I don't really like them having. I kind of want them. I guess they're probably holding up Force of Negation, would be my assumption. Here, Urza Saga is going to be huge. The rescue, as it gets under all of their counter magic. I mean, they have to force this, right? And then I slam Voidmere and have 2 hate pieces. Leyline Binding. Alright, targeting Soulless Jailer. Targeting Welding Jar. I think I'm going to use that on the Jailer. If they have a Force of Vigor here, sure. I don't know why like it's probably Force of Vigor, right? Yeah, Force of Vigor hit those two. Mystical Dispute. I think I'm pretty all in on Saga this game. They only have 2 cards in hand, and I know they're drawing. Oh, right ones. Oh. I mean, Tidebinder is pretty good against the Saga plan. Is somewhat likely that we'll only. Okay, so Voidmere, bit of a hit or miss there. We should have sacrificed Lantern targeting ourselves to shuffle the Mishra's Bauble, as if we play it here, it's going to get countered by Voidmere. They may counter this trigger on Urza Saga. Yeah. Alright, well, we're kind of behind here. Tidebinder in hand, yeah, very very strong, obviously. As I mean, it's a slow clock, but they have counter magic in hand now to worry about. So they have Mystical Dispute is their card. We're gonna float some mana. Oh, we can't use that mana anyway. Yeah, we will get Lantern. We gotta use this mana. So Voidmere doesn't counter it. I wonder if they crack Footfalls here. I think we're pretty happy with them cracking that, as Scion is a much faster clock than Tidebinder is. Force. Boseiju, who endures, and Urza Saga on top is basically the perfect card here. I think it was actually just incorrect for them to shuffle there. I think modern players are very much conditioned to me see Pithing Needle, me must crack fetch land. No, you must not crack fetch land there. As them drawing Scion just puts us in a much worse position than what we are now. I think it depends what's under Footfalls. If what's under Footfalls is good, we play. Actually, we don't play Shredder anyway. Pithing Needle. I mean, we're just gonna make constructs because we know they have Force Negation and Mystical Dispute up, and we kind of have to just hope that the constructs are able to go all the way, because we are not going to be able to resolve anything. Alright, crack your Wooded Foothills now. Very good in your opening hand, very bad top deck. I think that it actually does make the Rhinos matchup much better for us. Well, not much better, it's already good, but Leyline, like here, I don't care. Yeah, it's good if you have turn 2 Scion, but it does nothing for you right now. Scion on top. I mean, we're gonna get a Codex Shredder with this Urza Saga. So importantly, they can't counter us here. So it would actually be great if... Come on, attack. It would be awesome if the top card was a land there. It's not, obviously, but it would be great. We're going to make another construct. We can race Scion here. Still obviously going to get Codex Shredder, but not going to mill the Scion, as I don't want to mill them into a Force of Vigor, and we can just race here. start swinging. They have 2 counter spells in hand. I think we basically have it here. What keywords does it give? Yeah, it gives lifelink, which will put them up to 8, but then they have to chump with it. Rest in Peace? You're playing Rest in Peace in your Cascade deck against Lantern? Holy smoke. I mean, that is just wrong. No. PSA, if Rest in Peace. Rest in. I have seen I've seen Stony Silence from Cascade decks against Lantern. I have never seen Rest in Peace. That is not a card I have ever seen in a Cascade deck. Like, they could have cast Shardless Agent and landed on Rest in Peace. That's hilarious. Here, they're forced to chump once. Nope. I would like to make them forced to chump twice. Let's see if they probably counter this, but if they counter it with, nope. All right. Let's take the Glimmer Void. Any order. Another Thoughtseize on top. And play a Lantern here. Make it 7/7. Rest in Peace from Cascade. Unhinged. That is no. Can you imagine if they're turn 3? I was like, oh no, we're gonna die. They're cascading, and they flipped Rest in Peace. Maybe they took him out. I could have sworn we saw the 3-minute drop. Oh no, but it will let me resolve my Codex Shredder, which was the card I actually cared about. And then I can swing for 7 here. I mean, they're dead. Good game. 3 easy, quick and easy 3-0 in only an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, you hit us for 7 and okay, I kill both of them. Oh, first strike. Huh. Whoops. Well then. Oops. Yeah, that was a slight mistake there. Definitely should have held back. Yeah. We go down to 4. Dude, we just die. No way. Yeah, I can't make this construct big enough. Yeah, Rest in Peace. Go for it. No way. Oh, that's so bad. All I have to do is not attack there, and I win. Oh man. Well, that kind of stings. So much for all my trash talking of Scion. Yeah, there's nothing. Thoughtseize kills me. I just die. Needle. Yeah, because the dragon flies. Come on. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Oh. Fought through everything. Like, if we don't attack there, if they swing with Draco, that puts them up to 10, and us down to 7. We swing with both, they have to chump with Tideminder. They swing at us again, that puts us up, but they're dead. We just have to keep them off threats for a while. Man. So dumb. I mean, although it does appear that they're less all in on cascading. Oh, that's so bad. Come on. I think we just leave it as is. That keyword. I knew the dragon had lifelink. Like, I was playing around them gaining the life, I just totally forgot about the first strike. Even if I wait a turn, then they're big enough to attack. Like, oh, that's so dumb. Easy mulligan. I'll keep. I don't love it. I mean, Force of Vigor does get us pretty good, but they don't have the ley line again. Seiju who endures. Well, I guess we got to get back in it here. Can't let the punt get us two down. I mean, just try to stay upbeat. Don't let the mental health go totally to the slammer. If they are trying to take more of a controlling road in game 2, I think we're in better shape. Aurora. Hitting another land here would mean that we can space out these sagas. Usually you want to kind of have one land in between. Snow-covered forest, we're okay with that. But just having one land in between allows you to make constructs with both of them instead of having to sacrifice one construct. And they get it tapped. That is good, and they don't have white mana up for Leyline Binding. Drawing a Lantern and Stirrings here. I mean, we are going to play out the second saga, but we're just going to make some constructs. I don't know if they're all in on Rest in Peace as their Cascade target. Come on, Violent Outburst into Rest in Peace. That is all I want. Another bridge, I think we just float mana from this one. It'll allow us to get a Shredder. Tidebinder. I wonder which trigger they counter. Alright, they're going to stop the search. That makes sense. Urza Saga gets its ability. I think here, going to Ancient Stirrings. Ideally, alright, we just hit a land. Any order. We'll make a construct here, I guess. And like I said, we get 3 constructs out of 2 Urza Sagas instead of 4, just not finding that land in between there. But importantly, both constructs will be bigger than Rhinos if that's what they have. I mean, Force of Vigor is basically at all times the worst card that they could. Well, Force of Vigor or. And they don't have double red. If they fetch a Steam Vents here, worried about Brotherhood's End for sure. No, they fetch an island. Okay. Worried about Blood Moon. That I'm worried about. Less bad than it could have been. I mean, let's look at this positively here. I wouldn't be shocked if they forced this, because it does make our construct bigger than their Tidebinder. I do like that they're drawing Leyline. They can cast Scion anyway, so Leyline doesn't I mean, it makes Scion much better, but we do have double bridge. Fire Ice will be important to note. They'll be able to use Tidebinder plus Fire Ice to block it. Temple Garden, alright, they have access to Leyline Binding and Scion now, or they have access to Leyline. Not much we can really do about that. They drew Forest, Fire Ice, Leyline, Force of Negation. They're getting in, eh? And they could have another Force of Vigor here. I am going to play Lantern, as it means they have to have triple Fire Ice, although they don't have double red. And this does put them down to 2. Although Force of Vigor, pitch Leyline here is still very good. I know exactly why they attacked. I mean, if they... They can use Force of Vigor or Fire Ice, so we know 5 cards in their hand. Because they have 2 Fire Ice. 2x Fire Ice. However, if they're using their Fire Ices to tap down the construct, I think we're relatively happy with that. They're going to fetch. Void Mirror. They might not have... Oh, they're down to 1. So all their fetch lands are kind of great for us here. Alright, draw a fetch land. Draw Rest in Peace. I don't care about Rest in Peace here. Keep, you got 1 Fire Ice that I don't know about. Like they probably use a Force on Voidmere. Another Tidebinder. Okay, that's actually quite strong. They can counter the ability of Saga. They respect something. I mean, I think they want to trade. Maybe they're tapping it down again. You're going to tap the Saga. Alright, that's totally reasonable. They will be able to stop it. Oh, they did draw the Tidebinder. Right, yeah, obviously the 14. We'll play the Voidmere here. It likely eats a Force of Negation. But they didn't. If it eats a hardcast Force, they don't have Fire Ice up. Force pitch Leyline in the Guild Pact. We have Tidebinder and Foothills. Wow. I think I just hang back here. Because I have Bridge. They don't appear to have an answer. Strand. They drew 1, they have another on top. All their fetch lands are dead. Rest in Peace is fine. I don't know what kind of build of Rhinos this is. Obviously this game has gone much longer than I would like it to. Would have liked it to be gone last round. Okay, come on, crack the fetch land. So we're going to draw the Lantern. We're going to use Saga. And I don't know which ability they Tidebinder here. Oh, they played the Strand. Yup. You got it. Target. creating the construct. I'm pretty happy with that. We get a Codex Shredder. I mean, the 7/7, they have 1 Fire Ice in hand. Force Pitch Light. Am I just like making up cards in their hand? They didn't have Footfalls? Maybe they shuffled it away. You know, let me know in the comments what they... So do they have Fire Ice or do they have Foothills? Well, I mean, let me know in the comments if you have gotten to this point and you know what's in their hand, as I clearly do not. Leyline Binding, we have to mill. So we're gonna delete, well, this, and then for sure they have a Strand. They still have 35 cards left. About 11 minutes is plenty of time. Violent Outburst. What are they cascading into? I think I'm not the beatdown anymore. Yes, they're at 1. So I'm going to swing, but if they trade Fire Ice here, how do they want to play this? I am just going to play Bridge here. I think it's a cleaner route to winning is with Ensnaring Bridge on the board, and if they're cascading into Rest in Peace, like I'm going to let them draw the Cascader. If they hit Rhinos, fine. If they hit, I mean, there are obviously Stony Silence would be the worst card for them to hit. But let's take a look. Thoughtseize is Soulless Jailer. I like drawing. They probably cascade here. Well, I wonder what they cascade into. Oh, cancel. Dismiss that. 10. Nothing? They have nothing? What did they... They boarded out all of their Rhinos? I've never seen that before. They boarded out all of the Rhinos and brought in Rest in Peace? That's whack. That is I'll write, like, that is a choice you made, sir. Like, that's nuts. That's nuts. 0% that is the correct play. Like, okay, so I wasn't crazy. They had the Foothills. Like, that's nuts. Where's your deck? Like, I mean, Bridge, actually, we probably didn't need to play that, but your deck is Rhinos. You make Rhinos. Like, you don't play Rest in Peace. I'm not Dredge. Now I'm embarrassed that this went to 3 games. We should have had them at last. I mean, yeah, we should have had them last one, and I can't believe they took out 4 copies of Crashing Footfalls just to bring in Rest in Peace. Not even a card that, like, I don't care about Rest in Peace. Like, Rest in Peace doesn't matter. Yeah, I play Jailer, and I see Codex Shredder on top, and GG. Like, I mean, maybe we're gonna hope I don't punt anymore, but Rest in Peace is whack. Absolutely whack. Like, that's... I mean, Lorien revealed, we mill. Go ahead, cast your Leyline. Like, that's... Alright, we got... I mean, they have to have 4 cards in a row that are relevant here. and they have no recursion, so we don't have to worry about anything like endurance. Yeah, we got them. This is, I'm still kind of in the process of processing their sideboard plan here. I don't know if they, I mean, they conceded like game one. I'm not like crazy here. Like they conceded pretty quickly game one. They knew they were dead game one, but then they didn't know how to play against Lantern. Like, okay, I'll take it. Like, I still like the Larian revealed. Definitely the correct spelling of that card right there. But this is, so I kind of jinxed it last time when I said that it was a 3-0. So I am not going to say that we're 3-0 yet. However, if you wish to skip toward the timestamp of round 4, I would not feel that badly about it. Let's grab a bobble here. As, yeah, they got 27 cards. We got 8 minutes. They don't have any instant speed draw in hand. So from here, we keep them off of instant speed draw, and obviously removal for Ensnaring Bridge or Codex Shredder. Because, like, to be honest, we could let them have 1 Leyline Binding and would probably be fine here. However, do I really want to do that for any reason? No. Alright, you're going to reveal your entire deck that has nothing. You cascade into nothing, sir. So where's he at? He's got Force of Vigor. The Besagers, he's got 2 forces, 2 bindings, and that's it. Man, he's just gonna take his time here. This is very dead, but I think see, I would like almost have cut it off last game, and then why can't you cascade? Well, it could either be the you have nothing to cascade into, right? Also Jailer on board. Alright, well, we are now officially 3-0. I guess reading the card explains the card. Also, you sideboarded out all of your Crashing Footfalls. I didn't ask you to do that. You did that. But yes, the reason they can't cascade here is both because of them not having Crashing Footfalls and also Soulless Jailer, which says that players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. When you cascade, things go into exile and you cast them. Anyway, nice, very quick, slightly bumpy 3-0 start in that last one there. But overall, been very good games so far, and we'll be back for round 4. All right, back on the play. Both of our one on the play game is a 2-0, and our on the draw game is both of our on the draw games are 2-1s. Easy keep here. We have the full lock pending as pretty good removal. We do see they mulligan down to 6. They're just going to lead on Shredder. They do pause a decent amount here. And let's see what they're on. Bloodstained Mire, pass. I mean, we now have the answer to Sheoldred. Scapeshift. Oh, that's well, that is bad. This is a matchup where we need some hand disruption, which we do not have. Oh, I should have milled them. And they're just going to hold open, double fetch, bolt on top. I think we just have to get lands here, or a stronger rock. We're going to take Pixis. Any order, bridge on top isn't super relevant. So we could make Needle for Boseiju or something along those lines. Scapeshift is traditionally a fairly difficult matchup. Right, you got your Surveil. Just the Valakut's a lot harder to interact with, especially when you don't have access to Assassin's Trophy, which we will post board, but not game one. Crack your Bloodstained Mire. This could be the creativity one. That wouldn't shock me. Dryad. We are going to try to answer this. We'll see what's on top, what we're able to find. But Pixis here. Lantern I don't want. Fortunately, I think we have to Pixis here, as we need any colored land to get rid of this Dryad. Bauble's not a colored land. Courtyard is. And so this case, like, yes, it's a bit painful to exile, like to spend 3 mana for Dryad, but it doesn't give them a land, which in this matchup is probably pretty relevant. So there are good upsides and downsides. Valakut here, like, if they Scapeshift and just get, they just Scapeshift, right? The One Ring. All right, that is a strong card, undoubtedly. So they have a Valakut and Farseek in hand. Unfortunately, this Blooming Marsh is going to enter tapped. However, I don't think we're winning with constructs. We do have an answer to the ring. We don't have an answer to the Scapeshift that we let them draw. But another One Ring. I think, I'll let them have it if they replay it. So they do have another Valakut in hand, which is not good. And they could probably Scapeshift for close to lethal here. They play a Valakut. Nope, cancel. Where are you? Let's Pixis. Basically, Needle. If they Scapeshift, do they kill us? I don't know the Scapeshift math off the top of my head. So they take these 3. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield, if you control 5 other mountains. So next turn they go 1, 2, 3, 4. They Scapeshift, sacrifice everything. They have 5 mountains enter. But they don't have. They play this Scalding Tarn. I think we're dead without hand destruction. So we are going to try to get rid of Needle. Get rid of Concealed Courtyard. Duress or Thoughtseize. Inquisition does not do it, I don't think. I think we're dead. They can get it off. Valakut triggers off to kill us there. Well, kind of rough game 1, but you got to face your hard matchups sometimes. We do have some good sideboard cards here. Ashiok is pretty strong. We're going to want Leyline. Trophy is good as it can turn off the Valakuts, Torpor Orb, Needle, and Welding Jar. It's kind of the main things we're interested in. Prismatic Ending, I don't think we really want or need. Nihil Spellbomb is not great. Cookbook is probably not necessary. We do want all the disruption, and we did see I think we still got to trim one bridge, a bauble, the stirrings because we're bringing in a few more colored cards, and maybe another stirrings for the same reason. We'll see. Ashiok in the play is pretty good. Shuts down a lot of their deck. This did seem to be more all in on the Scapeshift plan than like Amulet Titan, which should be like it'll be a bit better, but not a ton. I think we keep this. Hope to use Shredder Bauble to find some hate. We won't duress on turn 1. We'll Shredder Bauble, as there isn't anything that we really need to hit that they play. Like, it's not their turn 1 plays that we're duressing. I guess there's a slight chance they could have Veil of Summer. And if they have Force of Vigor, I think them using it on Codex Shredder and Bauble is better than a lot of the other things they could use it on later in the game. And the card I most want to see here is Ashiok. Oh, we're just pulling Ashioks all day. Oh, let's go. Yes, please, I will take one here. That is the second time where I have said that a good card would be Ashiok, and then it has shown up. So apparently, I am now known as the Ashiok Summoner. That will be my new nickname. The Summoner. Chalice is real good. Wish is also very good. Let's see here. Scapeshift is irrelevant. It's between Chalice or Wish. And Dryad's going to be good. I think, honestly, it's Wish. We can beat a Chalice, we can't beat a Wish. As they have access to probably like everything from their sideboard that they could want. They're going to Surveil. Puts one card on top. Are we going to mill that? Yeah, we're going to mill that. One ring. I think it's better than Beseiju here. Dwarven Mine. Okay, so that does maybe mean they're on some number of creativity. Bit unfortunate, this Chalice here, but Ashiok will be good against that. And now we're looking for Ensnaring Bridge. Maybe we should take in the Chalice. And like I've talked about in some earlier videos, you don't want to use... no, we're going to let them draw. We'll mill at their end step. You don't want to downtick Ashiok, as right now it survives to 3 attacks from Dryad. If you downtick it, it only survives from 2. They're going to play a Valakut tapped. We're pretty happy with that. This is a matchup where blind milling can become very relevant, as if you take out enough mountains, they actually lose some of their lethal Scapeshift kills. Honestly, what I'm most kind of looking for here would be Urza Saga. Would be one of our best draws. Urza Saga or Bridge. Come on, crack the Bloodstained Mire. Crack the Bloodstained Mire. Alright, well. Bloodstained Mire. Dryad does now allow them to just play it. You put it on top. We're going to mill it. This Valakut. That's what we any target X lands from graveyard and the battlefield tap. That's pretty cool. We kind of have Bridge is one of the best cards we can draw here. However, it is not an answer for Valakut, which with this Dryad is going to start throwing damage pretty quickly. So Ashiok probably isn't super long for this world. I mean, probably could have used him there. Wish, this probably kills us. I'm assuming if they play Wish, they have something in mind. Yeah, we probably should have downticked Ashiok there, knowing it was going to die. but it bought us a bit of time. So now they're going to start chucking damage at us. We basically have to top deck Leyline of Sanctity here. Milieu, as you know, they can crack 2 fetch lands to deal us 12 plus whatever you can draw. Lantern doesn't do it, and a pretty quick one there against Scapeshift. Yeah, they just crack both fetch lands. They have Scapeshift in hand, so tough 0-2 there. Ashiok was good. We just weren't able to protect him well. Like the thing with Wish is that they have to get something like in a Wish board. They're going to have some sort of answer for whatever we get. So it still might have been correct to take it in the hopes of drawing more discard, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think I keep this hand on the draw. Not amazing, but pretty solid. Let's see if we can get the 4-1 here. Likely some either domain, Rhinos, Rhinos. Okay, that's Rhinos. So we're gonna have to find an ensnaring bridge. Hopefully these guys also sideboard out their Rhinos. No. Alternatively, we do that. We just play Lantern and Shredder and hope to. So Shredder Pixis here, you can kind of play either of them. If you play Pixis, it has the upside where you can mill both players. It also has the downside that you're forced to mill both players. So I think game 1, where so much of their deck I don't care about, I would rather play Shredder than Pixis. But I think both can be fine there. Until next end step. So we are going to be under pressure quickly. We kind of have 2 turns. We got to go land bridge, basically. Ideally land first so that Stirrings can get us a few more looks at bridge. We mill the Pixis. We don't need it right now. Land is good. So we're going to Pixis. Add a duress. Make sure they don't have an answer to it. That would be a good answer. And then we are going to cast Stirrings. Well, at least it's 5 non-bridge cards on the bottom. But we are dead in two turns, so not great. We got 3 looks plus a Lantern sacrifice to find bridge. So don't love it, but it's not nothing. We'll see. Yep, we take 10. A prismatic ending we keep because it buys us. It doesn't if they play their other Shardless Agent here. Yeah, so it just has to be healed until next end step. So wait. Oh, and they are on the rainbow version, playing Leyline of the Guild Pact. In our upkeep, let's Pixis here. Thoughtseize doesn't do it. Obviously the Tidebinder isn't good for them to have, but they're likely cracking the fetch land. Let's shuffle and come on, ensnaring bridge. Nope. Alright, tough beats. We got some sideboard cards for them. I wonder if they are also playing Rest in Peace in the sideboard. So on the play, what did we do last time? We had Void Mirror, Soulless Jailer, Assassin's Trophy, Pithing Needle, Welding Jar, Ashiok? And we cut the prismatic endings. We cut the Underworld Cookbook. And the Nile Spellbomb. That brought us to 6 out. Did we not bring in Trophy? I think if more lists are playing Damping Matrix now, so I think we will bring in the Trophy. And we trim 1 Bauble and hope that 3 Needles good enough. We go with that. Ashiok on the play can definitely be very good. It's a very play draw card, kind of regardless of the matchup. Ashiok is much better on the play than the draw. 5 lands. I don't think we can keep it. This hand, I mean, this is why we can't keep the previous one. I'm actually gonna drop the Stirrings here because I don't have mana to cast it. All right, they start with a Leyline, which is gonna be pretty good if they have the Scion. As the Scion, one of its keywords is lifelink. Did they keep a 7? Yeah, they kept a 7. It does add lifelink to it, meaning that they... Okay, tap land, perfect. Meaning that it can race very effectively. So even if we have construct tokens, it can still race them pretty easily. Cast a Bauble. They do appear to be F6 here, which does mean that it's perhaps a bit more likely that they Bauble. Bauble we don't want. We want 2 looks at a land here. Alright, so they hit their land. They got Scion. Alright, they got their combo. Like we can stop. We're not playing Shadow Spear. Oh, come on. Well, we gotta hit a land in... we're gonna let them draw the Foothills. They might have kept this on the back of Scion Leyline. I don't know. But, they can't Cascade. They can't cast Force of Vigor. Force of Negation are both live. So they're going to get in. First strike, Hexproof, Lifelink, Trample, Vigilance. Remember the first strike. Alright, so we... What are they casting here? Territorial Kavu. Again, if we find a land, so they may have sided out Crashing Footfalls. That wouldn't, that's good enough. I'm gonna bubble them though, as I don't mind seeing an extra card. And I don't mind seeing more sagas. Given that I have so many sagas coming up, I'm gonna get Welding Jar here. If they have Force of Vigor, it's good against that. Saga, although if they have Force of Vigor, they can stop the Saga from making mana. And if they have Force of Negation, which they do not appear to, go figure. Well, we again have to dig for a bridge. Or, I mean, if we could take that Assassin's Trophy back, although then we'd have to hit a land. Alright, I mean, I don't have a problem with them fetching at all. As I want to use this Pixis anyway. Outburst, go, gives them 5, 6, gives them 11 power. I'm not gonna block this turn. Do I go all in on finding a bridge? I think I have to. I think they have enough hate cards post board that whatever's under can be worse for me. I mean, it's bridge or bust here. Feels like we've been in that position a few too many times today. Instead, yes, I will pick this here. They have Violent Outburst up. Thoughtseize doesn't do it. Picks this. We can survive one turn if they don't have Fire Ice. So I think we play to that. Like, we can kill the Kavu, but just not having flying here is a bit too much to overcome. They're going to Cascade and realize that Soulless Jailer is out. Huh? Non-creature. Trample, we can block 4, we take 5. The problem here is that we have to sacrifice Lantern to stop them from having Mystical Dispute, because if we top deck Bridge, it's you have to have it resolve. So wait, just die anyway. They hit us for 4. No, they hit us for 6. We'll get 2 points of trample here. So this seems to be more all in on the domain strategy, where they are kind of sideboarding out of their Rhinos. It does mean that if you're playing a card like Chalice of the Void, that it won't actually do much against them. So maybe that's more of a new thing, where Rhinos players are sideboarding out Chalices. Yep, definitely has worked here. So they had the right answer to Ensnaring Bridge. Yep, we go to 1. We are going to pick this on our upkeep. Importantly to note, if we sack the Welding Jar there, we die, because it will shrink our construct. So don't accidentally sack Welding Jar and die there. Yeah, we are dead, but we are going to go out on our own terms. Tough one there. Oh no. Yep. Well, we got a treasure chest, so that was good. The classic 3-3-0 into 3-2. Sorry, my MTGO is just lagging a bit here. The classic 3-0 into 3-2. First round against Coffers was pretty straightforward, very easy win. Round 2 against Living End, I think that was a very good match. The deck performed quite well. Both players had chances. We drew well at the right times. This game should have been 2-0. We totally punted game 2, again against Rhinos, Rainbow Rhinos. Game 3, or round 4, the Scapeshift deck, I think it's a very hard matchup for us overall. There weren't like a ton of decision points there. I don't feel too badly about anything in that matchup. And then the last one against Rhinos, it's a tough one, but you can't win them all. Even the good matchups, you're gonna gotta lose to them sometimes. Lantern can't always win, as much as it would be nice. We are gonna open the treasure chest here. Let's take a look at what we got. Yes, we would like to open one of these. And 15 play points. All right, I'll take it. Ginny Fey, very cool commander card. Nice. I'll take it. Overall thoughts on the deck. I think it performed quite well. The sideboard, we didn't run into any Curse Totem or Mill. None of those matchups, but I think they're still necessary. Overall, I was pretty happy with the main deck. Prismatic Ending was not super relevant, but admittedly we ran into multiple Cascade decks. Like 3 of our 5 rounds were against some version of Cascade, which does mean Soulless Jailer goes up in value a bit. Soulless Jailer and Void Mirror. If I think you play Soulless Jailer if Rhinos stays the more traditional route, but if Rhinos goes more into the Rainbow Rhinos, then you possibly switch over to Void Mirror, because like we saw in that final game, Soulless Jailer does not counter Rhinos. Anyway, overall, I was pretty happy with the deck, how it performed. I think this is, if you're getting into Lantern, this is probably the best list to just pick up. It kind of is very streamlined, straightforward of kind of how to play Lantern. So obviously a good jumping off point for any new players. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.